Hello, welcome back. Today we are going to visit the LGBT Museum. What are you thinking? It's Lang Gong Bat Chang, okay? It's called the Pottery Village, dating back to the 14th century in Vietnam, but today we're in its center, the museum. I've never been here before. This is my first time, but I suppose we're gonna see some really interesting antique pieces from hundreds of years ago, and also some newer collections, all made by the artisans in this village. So it's gonna be really, really cool. Oh, and there's something really cool. What do you think of when you look at the spiral architecture here? It actually inspired by the potter's wheel. You know, the tool that the artisans here use to make the clay, to mold and to shape the clay. The outside is super interesting, but now we're gonna go inside. Okay, let's go. This is the entrance. It's inside one of the wheel. I'm not gonna use the elevator because we're gonna go to the first floor first. Let's head up to the first floor. I'm having my ticket scanned at the entrance. All done. Where do we go first? I seriously had no idea, so I accidentally walked in the wrong direction and ended up in a section full of broken clay pieces. While wandering around cluelessly, I bumped into a tour group with a guide. I was like, damn, they have guides here? I should have asked earlier. After hearing a few fascinating things, I decided to join them. It's the only way to really understand the full story behind this traditional craft village. Without one, I would have missed so many details. So now, let's restart our journey, but this time, the right way. This bell here is where it all began. On it, you can see a poem with the first two lines reading, Ngược sóng hồng hà, dựng phường bạch thổ. It tells the story of how the first generation of artisans followed King Lý Thái Tổ when he moved the capital from Hoa Lư to Thăng Long in 1010. 5 renowned pottery families answered the king's call. On their way to the new capital, they discovered that the white clay along the riverbank in Bạch Thổ was perfect for pottery, so they decided to settle there. And the rest is history. This great migration is recreated with this ship model. These people brought almost nothing with them, just their tools and their craft to start a new life. It's crazy to think that such a small journey ended up creating a rich and long-lasting pottery tradition. Over here, you can see different types of kilns they used over the centuries, from wood fire to coal. Now people mostly use gas kilns because they are much more efficient. And do you know that back then, a single ceramic piece could take up to 5 to 7 days of non-stop firing to finish? I can't even imagine how they managed to keep the temperature so high, up to 1200 degrees, using just wood or coal for days straight. That's crazy. Then there comes a little quiet space dedicated to the man who turned this craft into an academic field. He wasn't the founder, but he was the first to collect all the knowledge and actually teach it in college. Before him, pottery was just a skill passed down through families, but thanks to him, it became something people could actually study and learn properly. Now it's time for the best part, the collections. One word only, guys. Wow. I was mind blown. Seriously, I never expected pottery to look that good and to be that diverse. If you're like me and always thought pottery was just bình thường, nothing special, then let's see if what comes next will change your mind. I'll show you some of my favorite collections. The first one, the luminous ceramics. Gốm phát quang. Now, how can something so dense like gốm actually glow like this, right? It's actually a very special ingredient in the mix. Cho xương, bone ash. Yes, literally the ash of animal bone. about 40 to 50%. The pieces are also super thin, only around 2 to 3 millimeters, and that's how the light can pass through and create this glowing effect. And here's another one. So stunning. The colors have this really unique gradient effect, but do you know what's even cooler? These colors aren't painted on. They are created from multiple layers of glaze during firing, which naturally produces this beautiful gradient. And also this one. The color is totally natural. That deep red tone actually comes from a special natural ingredient inside the clay itself, possibly đồng, bronze. If something can be made or artificially created, it can only be found in nature, which makes it extremely rare and valuable. It's not just vases. The artists also create other types of art too. For example, this spiritual themed collection here features Vietnamese mythical creatures and folk symbols. Fun fact, one of the dragon sculptures here is actually based on the piece that was given to President Obama when he visited Vietnam in 2016. But I forgot which one it was. Oh, and look, these pieces were made by artist Nguyễn Tuấn Minh. He was awarded the title of Nghệ nhân, Master Craftsman, at just 25, the youngest ever at that time. His works are insanely intricate. And this one is a totally different vibe. The decorative details here are all real gold. They're all handcrafted to the smallest details. And since gold and ceramic require different firing temperatures, these pieces had to be fired multiple times to achieve the final finish. Walking around, I couldn't stop asking myself, these were all shaped and painted by human hands? I think that's why every collection has such a distinctive personality. And honestly, I thought the museum would be kind of boring at first. Like, it's just pottery, right? How exciting could it be? But this place completely changed my perspective. It shows that pottery isn't just about white porcelain vase or blue and white tea set like we usually picture, but creativity goes beyond the clay. It becomes art. The level of creativity, technique, and history behind each piece is unbelievable.
Hồi ức Nam Đàn chợt hiện sinh, làng quê thoáng khói lam chiều tỏa, sen đưa hương hát buổi bình minh.
Alright, let's move to the second floor. This floor is a completely different theme, and it's not even pottery anymore. We're stepping into the triển lãm điêu khắc ánh sáng, or the Light of Knowledge exhibition. This is a very unique form of art called light sculpture, which combines physical sculpture with light to create images through shadows. The artist uses ordinary, even discarded materials like broken ceramics, driftwood, wires, metal scraps. But when light shines through them, they cast shadows that form surprisingly detailed images. The theme today focuses on Vietnamese generals and national leaders who play significant roles in our history. What I really love is that each artwork doesn't just stand alone, but is tied to a specific historical period of Vietnam, from the era of Hùng Kings all the way to the August Revolution in 1945. As I walk around, it made me realize that patriotism isn't just a theme in Vietnamese art. It's deeply rooted in who we are. Perhaps it's this sense of unity and shared bond that gave us, a small nation, the incredible strength to fight against some of the world's most powerful armies. This exhibition wasn't just visually stunning, it also made me feel deeply proud of our heroic history. If history classes were taught like this, I would have been way more interested, honestly. Here I'm writing down my reflections in the museum notebook. I think it's such a meaningful way to express my admiration for the artist and for the whole experience. And now we have made it to the top floor, the last stop of our museum tour.
It suddenly rained really heavily when I come here, but no worry because I got this conical hat and I'm gonna use it to avoid the rain. Running.
There isn't actually much to see here in terms of object, but it's the vibe that counts. It's so green, peaceful, and tranquil. And there's free tea too? What? So wholesome. I feel like whoever designed this space really understands visitor. Like they want you to feel calm, welcome, and to actually enjoy being here, not just look at things and leave. From here, you can also see the Sông Hồng, the Red River, in the distance. And standing there after spending hours surrounded by so much history and art, it hits different. As a final little moment before leaving, I wrote down a wish on a wooden tag and hung it onto the sacred tree, just like hundreds of other wishes already there. After everything, I can confidently say this is one of my favorite museums in Hanoi. It is relatively small compared to other museums, but it offers such a complete and emotional experience, almost like a small spiritual journey that welcomes you into the history, the life, and the soul of Bachang artisans and their art. I truly think it's worth visiting, and if this kind of thing interests you, come and experience it for yourself.